So today we have a 2014 Nissan Rogue. And it's here for a number of issues. I noticed when I drove it in, a reminder on the dash for service due. And low washer fluid. And TPMS light. And check engine light. And the AC doesn't work. I've got it on AC, I've got it on max cold. Compressor is not running. So we're going to scan it and see what kind of codes it has to offer. So this is a new vehicle, it's auto ID'd. As I said, it's a 2014 Nissan Rogue with a 2.5, 150,000 kilometers on it. Let's see if there's any codes related to the AC or why the check engine light is on anyways. Oh yes, Nissan are pretty slow. Wow, that was painful. Let's do a network code scan. I wonder if I'll have to do key on engine off. Doesn't appear to. So we have a vent control problem. Evap code. There were no warning lights on related to the anti-lock brakes. Or the airbag. So these codes are likely in history. No codes in the HVAC. I think we'll be putting the pressure gauges on this thing and see if the system is empty. Vehicle speed signal failure. CAN vehicle speed. Electronic power steering. I don't know why these Nissan vehicles are so slow to do a network scan, and it's not the scan tool in my opinion. It's the system. I think he said that he had the AC charged last year and it only lasted a few days. So there may be a rear line leak. I wonder if this has got rear AC. I think it does. Well, while it's doing the network scan, I'll go have a look. You don't see any rear AC indication on the dash, but we'll have a look underneath when we finished here. Let's see, we're just about done. I think the code that's turning the check engine light on is the vent solenoid code. Lots of TPMS codes, probably missing the sensors or they're dead. Okay, that's the end of the network code scan. Well, let's put it up on the hoist and have a look. So it's definitely low on refrigerant. There's only about 5 pounds of pressure in there on the low side and about 5 to 7 pounds on the high side. I see that somebody's put dye in it. It looks like there's evidence of dye on the low pressure port here. You can see the yellow. So I'm not going to put anything in, and I'm going to lift it up in the air and have a look with the black light and see if we can see any evidence of where this refrigerant has gone. So I'm doing all system network code clear. I have no history on this vehicle. This is the first time it's in here. So we're going to start out with a clean slate. We will investigate that vent solenoid if the customer wants me to check into that. It may be an open solenoid or a wiring issue. Usually the vent solenoid's near the charcoal canister or by the gas tank. Purge solenoid's on the engine. And as usual, being a Nissan, this network code clear event is slow. So that was easily a couple of minutes. Cleared controllers, 11 controllers. Just going to go back into the engine control computer and recheck to see if that vent solenoid code came back immediately. Yes, it did. So there is a current problem with the vent solenoid. So here's the black light that I've used for a while. It's an LED version of a black light, and I don't know if you can see the dye shows up on there. Now I'm not sure if that's from the service machine or if this had dye put in it, but I looked at every connection. Oh, this does not have rear AC, by the way. I looked at every connection around the compressor, the two halves of the compressor front seal, the condenser, and I can't see any evidence of dye. So either it's not got dye in it and that's just from hooking up the service machine, or it isn't showing up. It could be in the evaporator core. Can't see in there. So behind the right rear wheel is the canister, and on the canister is the solenoid, you can see there. So it resets the fault code for the solenoid immediately as soon as I clear it. So I'm going to disconnect it and put a Noid light in there. So I've plugged in a Noid light in place of the solenoid, and that's going to simulate the continuity through the solenoid. We're going to clear the codes and see if the code returns. So we're going to go into the ECM and clear codes. And then wait 5 seconds and reread the codes. So with the light bulb in there, it passes the test, but as one more confirmation, we're going to command the vent solenoid on. Key on, engine off. I have the key in on and it's not running. And I've commanded it on. Let's go have a look. So as you can see, the ECM can command it on, so the circuit is good. I suppose to be 110% sure we could check continuity through the winding, but I think we've confirmed it 2 different ways, so we'll look at the cost of a solenoid. So the system is holding vacuum, so we're going to go ahead and charge it. I'm not sure what happened with the other charge event, and it says it takes half a kilogram, 1.1 pounds. So I did service it, change the oil and filter. We'll have to reset the oil life monitor. So we're going to charge its AC and see if the compressor will kick in. Now there's the system running. The compressor is running now. 28, 29. High side around 130. It's pretty mild. It's pretty cool today in the shop. It's 20 Celsius, so it doesn't need much AC to cool. See, yeah, it's blowing cold. We're going to add some dye to this thing because I'm not sure if it was added last time. We're going to check it electronically for leaks. So there's the setup for adding the dye. At about 3/4 of an ounce. This system's pretty small. And you inject it in the low side service port with it running and the AC on, because the low side pressures would be quite low then. So I've got the electronic leak tester in here and checking to see if the evaporator core is leaking. Let's put it down in the lower duct, because sometimes the refrigerant is heavier than air and it will come out of the lower duct. This thing will start beeping faster if it picks up refrigerant. Let's try it on the right side vent or left side vent. Well, so I've checked it over with the electronic tester and with the black light, and I can't find any signs of a leak anywhere, so I'm wondering if it was properly charged last time. You know, these crimps don't even have any kind of sweat on them. Looked at all the lines, can't pick up anything inside the cab, so we're going to give it back to the customer and evaluate it. I have to order that vent solenoid, and that'll be probably 4 or 5 days to get, and we'll see how the AC performs in that time.